Bonne chance aux deux équipes et bon match. Best of luck to both.
Good evening and welcome to an excellent way to close out the round-robin portion of the 2024 Women's International Division of the Canada Cup Tournament. It is 4-0 Triple Crown Colorado, David King's college all-star team that he puts together and brings to Softball City, a team that has finished second in the last two consecutive Canada Cups and look like they're potentially on their way to maybe jumping even one step up the ladder. They're a perfect 4-0. Their biggest win came in a showdown against Australia, and they won it convincingly 6-1. And there is Maddie Groff, who gets the start, who had a marvelous year at Southern Illinois, but the Omaha, Nebraska product is going to transfer and play at home at the University of Omaha, Nebraska next season. Coleman, Hartley, Travers, Carvalho. And it's Team Czechia, 3-1. Australia is already closed out with a 4-1 record. And there is an opportunity, if Czechia could pull off the upset, that we could have a three-way tie for top spot in the group. And that's really important as Groff, the hard-throwing left-hander, delivers the strike to Magdalena Kavanova, the 21-year-old from Prague, who's 3 for 9 in this Canada Cup. And goes right back upstairs again. Kavanova had all 3 hits and an RBI in a game against the Saskatchewan 222s, a 5-3 victory earlier this week as the Saskatchewan 222s almost pulled a massive upset. Earlier today, they led the Australian national team 2-1 going to the top of the 7th. We're 3 outs away, and then Australia, one of the best teams on the planet, came through with 4 runs to win it 5-2. So 1 down and an early strikeout. Christina Mala on the ground, and the play made by Jackie Lease. Not a lot of change as far as infield, outfield. Reese Atwood, the superstar from the University of Texas, catches Maddie Groff, who went 30-5 this year at Southern Illinois, and one of the best earned run averages in all the NCAA. So a couple of quick outs. Triple Crown Colorado, to finish the original story, will finish first with a win. If they were to lose, then these 2 teams and Australia would all end up at 4-1. And then it comes down to a run quotient to break the tie. And what makes that even more interesting is because if you end up in a 3-way tie finishing 3rd in this group, the Saskatchewan 222s will be the number 4 seed going into tomorrow afternoon's playoffs and will play Israel in one of the matchups. The top 2 finishing teams have 2 playoff lives as opposed to just 1. The batter playing left field tonight, we've seen her a lot at shortstop, is Emma Vodichkova. And Vodichkova, a good player, but she has struggled at home plate in this Canada Cup. She was here in 2022, still looking for her first hit. She's 0 for 9. The 23-year-old from Prague, or Praha, as they would say back in Czechia. Made some very fine plays at shortstop, but she'll play in left field tonight. As the Czechia coaching staff making some different defensive alignments. No trouble at all for Jackie Lease, and another quality inning for Maddie Groff. 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Triple Crown Colorado coming to bat when we return on the final night of the round robin at the Canada Cup. Interesting how these two teams would set themselves up for tonight. Now, just by virtue of Czechia's lineup tonight, as you get a look at what you've seen a lot of so far from 4-0 Triple Crown Colorado, maybe the run differential for Czech Republic really has very little opportunity to work out. They might have had an opportunity to throw their ace in a game that could potentially move them up into one of the top two spots, but they're not going with 27-year-old ace Veronika Pekova. Instead, they'll give the ball in this important round-robin game to a youngster, 18-year-old Amalie Chalupkova. who has thrown 2 innings, given up no runs, no hits, struck out 3 and walked 1, but those 2 innings came against a Greek team that went 0-5 in the round robin. So Czechia not going with its best pitcher, to be sure. Take nothing away from this youngster who performed well at the 2021 U18 World Cup. And Chalupkova down low with a ball to Kaylee Wickoff. The pride of Katy, Texas, and Texas Tech University. She's 4 for 10 in her second straight Canada Cup. She was here last year as well. Has doubled and driven in 2 runs, and she's hit some other balls very hard that could have been hits. This is a team that many refer to as almost the United States national B team. There are certainly players on the verge of joining their national team, and it's one of the hardest rosters in all of sports to crack when you think about the depth that the United States have in women's fast-pitch softball. I can only think of one U.S. women's team that is more difficult to make than this one, and that is their women's national basketball team that is not lost in Olympic competition or a best-on-best scenario since the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona. Show me in a team sport another team that has that kind of record. You can't. It doesn't really exist. Three balls and a strike from Chalupkova. On the ground, Christina Mala, not in time to get the speedy Katy Wickoff. And she has her 5th hit. And the dangerous star out of the University of Minnesota in San Jose, California, Jess Oakland. When she gets a hit, it usually leaves the park. She has 5 of them, 4 of them home runs. Towering, carrying, she did it again. As I was mentioning, when she gets a hit, that's usually the end result. That is Jess Oakland's 5th home run of the Canada Cup. And runs batted in 11 and 12 to lead the competition in both of those categories. And that's the 3rd one that she has connected that has just been, the only way to describe it is towering. That ball carried a long way. And Triple Crown Colorado trying to completely seal the deal for first place. And they would have a playoff date here in this time slot tomorrow with a second place finisher in the other group, which is Mexico. Change up on one hop, not easy. Handled by Gabriela Slaba. And Cassidy Pickering, a star at NCAA champion Oklahoma, is the first out of the bottom of the 1st inning. And Cassidy, who hit nearly 400 on that Sooners team that won a record 4th national title in a row, start of June in Oklahoma City, has been impressive here. So is this young woman. Sandia, Texas, and University of Texas, first-team All-American catcher Reese Atwood. 5 for 12 at the Canada Cup, a double, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. And her best game was the game that in this round robin mattered most. It was against Australia. In that game, she was 3 for 4 with a home run and 2 runs batted in. 423 at Texas, 12 doubles, 23 home runs, and an NCAA leading 90 runs batted in. Not 9, not 49, not 79, 90. Incredible. The only time she failed to, by and large, drive in a run all season long was at the College World Series in the best-of-3 final against Oklahoma. Didn't have a run batted in as Texas went down in 2 straight games to the national champions. Change up and an excellent one from the youngster Chalupkova. As she sits down a very good hitter in Reese Atwood without number 2. So she settles in after giving up the 2-run home run, the towering blast off the bat of Jess Oakland. And now facing Alexis Papillo from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Batted .324 this year at the University of Northern Iowa. She's transferring to an SEC school in Alabama for next season. And she's an impressive 5 for 9 here with a home run at the Canada Cup. As Chalupkova goes upstairs but misses out of the zone. An early 2-run homer for Jess Oakland, her tournament-leading 5th. 6 hits, 5 of them have been home runs. On one hop, and Alishka Steshkolova helps to end the inning. Jess Oakland almost hit it to Oakland. It's 2-0, Triple Crown Colorado after 1. Triple Crown Colorado on a Jess Oakland home run in front. It's been so good to watch all the youngsters, many of them playing in futures showcases as part of this massive tournament that is the Canada Cup. And a chance to watch some of the best in the sport. Alishka Steshkolova. And she has had a very good week at home plate, the 23-year-old from Brno. 6 for 11, a home run and 4 runs batted in for the third baseman. Had 3 consecutive multi-hit games before going 0 for 3 and a 3-0 loss to Kendra Lamb and Australia yesterday. She played with the senior national team in all of their games in the year 2023. There was no major competitions. Steshkolova, camping under it, is Jess Oakland, the shortstop, and there is one away. Maddie Groff, impressive in a couple of innings of work earlier in the tournament, and starting by retiring 4 in a row here this evening as she faces second baseman Gabriela Slaba. Groff struck out 244 batters in 220 2/3 innings at Southern Illinois. How did her college career start? How about a perfect game in your college debut against Creighton University on February the 9th? As she misses up and away to Slaba. Was the Missouri Valley Conference pitcher and freshman and all first-team pitcher and a third-team All-American. Took something off of the rise that time and missed and falls behind in the count to Slaba. She's 24 and is 3 for 8 with 4 runs batted in herself. And can't catch up to that rise ball, which has good movement and away from a left-handed batter. I've been impressed with her. Slaba timed that up a little bit better. Full count to Slaba. 1 for 3 versus Greece with 2 runs batted in and a 2-hit performance in a hard-fought 5-3 win over the Saskatchewan 222s, who grabbed the 4th playoff spot in this pool. The more difficult of the 2 pools, with Triple Crown, Colorado, Australia, and Czechia. And the Saskatchewan 222s outside of the 7-0 loss on opening day against Triple Crown, Colorado, and that was more competitive than the score might have indicated. Really the story here. Oakland fires over to first. And there are 2 down. I am of the understanding our first playoff game tomorrow at 1 will finish the 3rd place finisher from the pool that Canada finished first in, Team Israel, and those aforementioned Saskatchewan 222s, which would then leave potentially Czechia and the Philippines in the 3:30 game. High in the air to right field, Cassidy Pickering only had to take a few steps in. She's faced 6 batters. She sent 6 batters to the dugout. Triple Crown, Colorado with an early 2-0 lead in the final game of the round robin of the Canada Cup. A 2-run towering homer, her tournament-leading 5th of the Canada Cup from Jess Oakland, has Triple Crown Colorado in front 2-0 of Czechia as they look to go a perfect 5-0 in the round robin as they get set for the playoffs starting, in their case, tomorrow in this same time slot. Canada, I'm almost certain, will play in the 6 o'clock game as they have all week long. 1, 3:30, 6, and 8:30. The playoff games tomorrow for the 8 teams. 12 teams started the competition. The other 4 will participate in a consolation event. Katie Stewart, another star at the University of Texas. From Franklin, Illinois. Big chopper. And beats it out. Gabriela Slaba could not have done much better with that. Really could not have. And it took a short hop. Bounded off the plate. It's a really difficult play. Having to throw across your body, moving in the other direction, and still got quite a lot on the throw. But it's a base hit for Stewart. And a changeup misses down and away to Ariana Roddy from Cranston, Rhode Island. Not a lot of high-level players that I've witnessed over the years from Rhode Island, so it's great to see. And she's a first-team softball All-American. High, fly, trouble, caught. A mile up there, and the ball moves around a lot. And Ari Roddy is retired as Gabriela Slab has been busy and tested back-to-back batters here. So Stewart remains at first after 5th hit. And this is Jackie Lease, whose batting average and hit totals could be much different. She's 3 for 11, a double, a home run, and 3 runs batted in. But had she had a little bit more luck, she has scorched a couple of balls that were caught. She's in her 2nd straight Canada Cup, hit .375 here in 2023. Chalupkova, the 18-year-old, with a rise in a perfect spot. Up and in. Great experience against this kind of lineup for Chalupkova. And she has pretty good velocity. Finding young pitchers and helping them grow into true world-class performers, the difference for a lot of these countries that are maybe just a notch below. But Czechia, in both women's and men's play, one of the fastest growing, most improved nations in the world in this sport. And Chalupkova with a rise that had a great curve action to it as well. Look at that curve in across the inside part of the plate. And a 2nd strikeout for the young Chalupkova. Sarah Gordon is caught. She's a very versatile player. At 3rd base tonight is the former star at the University of Louisville who transferred this year to the University of Georgia, where she was a Bulldog in that very difficult SEC Southeastern Conference. She's 2 for 8 in this tournament, and both of her hits in their biggest game, somewhat like Reese Atwood against Australia. She was 9 for 17 here last year. High but playable. Caught by Klara Chekova-Kolachi to end the inning. Jess Oakland has given Triple Crown Colorado an early advantage.
Welcome to the 2024 Canada Cup, brought to you by the Canadian Amateur Sports Society. Our not-for-profit organization is dedicated to ensuring that every deserving child can fully enjoy multi-day sports camps without any limitations. Join us in making a difference. Sign up for these life-changing camps or become a sponsor today. Together, let's celebrate the unifying power of sport. Visit Canada Cup.
Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are tuning in. CanadaCup.com and on Softball Premier TV, bringing you all the pictures on their YouTube channel. Really become the home of a lot of great softball events in North and South and Central America, and the world for that matter, as Matty Groff throws a strike to catcher Katerina Vakova. "24 years of age from Prague. Limited appearances in this tournament. Just one official at-bat, 0 for 1, and it came in a game against Greece. So the Czechs really playing this like more of a tune-up to get ready for the playoffs tomorrow. And with a win, and the right kind of win, I believe they could have finished first in this pool. They did lose 3-0 to Australia. Record 3-1. I'd always rather try to play fewer games and put myself in a better situation, even when you face this kind of opponent. But that's not what Czechia has decided to do. I'm not saying that even with Veronika Pekova and a different lineup that you would beat this team. That would be a tall order and will be as the tournament goes on. But Pekova is just in a different category. She throws 70-plus miles an hour and showed that in a couple of performances and was very good in that game yesterday against Australia. The Czechia lost 3-0, and that game really came down to some mental-type mistakes and lack of execution at some key moments, where Czechia very easily could have won that game. But that's the decision, and it's not mine. Klara Chekova-Kolachi in center tonight. She was the catcher in that game against Australia and was involved in a very key play in the game. She's just 22 years of age. From Prague. 1 for 6 in the tournament. 0 for 3 against Australia. Her lone hit against Greece. And Groff likes to work upstairs. She had 9 shutouts this year at Southern Illinois, and her 1.11 earned run average was the second best in all of NCAA Division I softball. Very impressive. And the University of Omaha, Nebraska will be delighted to have her and her sister, Rylan, who was on a preliminary roster to be here, also transferring from Southern Illinois. Chekova-Kolachi does well to stay off the 2-2 pitch. 2 runs, 3 hits for Triple Crown Colorado. Kolachi, a good swing to foul it back. And it took 1 hit, the 5th home run of the tournament in her 6 hits. And now up to 12 runs batted in for shortstop Jess Oakland from San Jose, California, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year at the University of Minnesota. in foul territory and off the pole as Ariana Rodi gave chase. She'll take a look to see if the softball's still in good enough condition. Great night. Cooled off to almost a perfect temperature. Very little wind. Sun down. Hard hit ball. Jackie Lease in the right spot. Almost on the grass. To take a potential hit away from Kolachi. The hardest hit ball by any Czech player so far in the game. As Chikova Kolachi lines out to second for out number 2. And here's another young player in Karolina Fribova. Just 19 years of age. She has played a lot this week. And not really hard to understand why. And shows you another indication as to why she'll stay. The 19-year-old has the first Czechia hit. A line shot to the gap in right center, and what a reaction from Fribova. And that's the first hit that Maddie Groff has given up here in 4+ innings of work at the Canada Cup. Fribova was a 500 hitter at last year's U18 European Championship, where she went 7 for 14. Looks like her future is bright. Well, a little more life out of the Czechia dugout. As the number 9 hitter drives one into the gap. And now it's first baseman, played a lot of second base this week, Magdalena Kavanova. Been in the leadoff spot in every game I've witnessed. Change up, and Reese Atwood does well behind home plate to handle it. Kavanova was excellent at the 2022 European Championships. Hit .520. 13 for 25 in that event. Where Czechia has primarily been in the number 4 type area. The Netherlands, Italy, now Great Britain. Very much in contention in that part of the world. And one pitcher can make all the difference. But Czechia has one of their own, and 27-year-old Pekova, who we will see, I'm almost certain, tomorrow. Maybe not in the first game. Thought we might see her tonight. Well, a double by Fribova, but Kavanova grounds out to Ari Ruddy. So a hit, but no runs in Triple Crown. Colorado continues to lead by a pair. third consecutive inning of work for 18-year-old Czechia pitcher Emily Chalupkova. Won't turn 19 until the 25th of October in her second appearance of this Canada Cup. The wheel for the kids to allow them to participate in camps. Sports, just an amazing thing for youngsters. Being a part of a team. Learn so much. I've always said my whole life, sports in so many ways, especially team sports, really emulates life. Back to the top of the Triple Crown Colorado order, and Katie Wickoff. Kaylee from Katy, Texas. And Kaylee from Katy has a base hit. Her fifth, or now sixth. She's 2 for 2 is Kaylee Wickoff. She singled to set the table for this woman, Jess Oakland, who hit a towering fly to left center for her 5th home run. And was trying to jack one out of here again. She has 6 hits. 5 of them have been home runs. The only game she has not homered in here this week is against 0-5 Greece, which almost doesn't make sense. And she's swinging out of her shoes on that swing. She had 20 homers and 58 runs batted in at the University of Minnesota, 34 home runs and 103 runs batted in the 2 years that she's played there. Second team All-American, the Big Ten Player of the Year. At .452, the 5th best batting average, and was tied for 9th in home runs. Other than that, it was a average year. And a treat to watch in person. Everything she hits is high in the air, too, but this is an out. She pops out to right fielder Fribova, who has delivered the only hit off of Maddie Groff, the TC Colorado pitcher. So 1 away for Cassidy Pickering, who grounded out to Gabriela Slaba at second base. And Chalupkova delivers a changeup for a strike. Pickering, .389 at NCAA champion Oklahoma, 12 home runs, 51 runs batted in. And she was a difference maker in the best-of-3 College World Series final against Texas. She had 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in that sweep of the best-of-3 final. Has 1 home run here. It came against Greece. And 1 multi-hit game, that versus the Saskatchewan 222s. So much depth, so much talent in the United States of America in this sport. Chalupkova misses outside with a drop. And a good 1-2 pitch. Don't leave anything in the middle of the plate for this young woman. She might hit it off the tent. Good movement. Just out of the zone. Little down, it would appear from this vantage point. There's a look from our center field camera. which is back up and running. Change up again. A high fly and a high fly out to the right fielder, Fribova. So she's made 2 consecutive putouts here in the bottom of the third. And Reese Atwood, who struck out against the youngster, sets herself in the box. Inside and underneath it, and be careful trying to catch that, which no one was able to, thank goodness. Funny and embarrassing story for myself. Broken 2 bones in my life. One of them was trying to catch a line drive as a fan in the stands. Many years ago, it turned at the last second, and the donkey that I was thought I might be able to catch it, tried to pull my hand away, and broke my wrist. So I'm very wary now of foul balls. Great change from Chalupkova. We see a bright future here in this 18-year-old. Pretty good velocity, changes speeds. See what she has to offer to Reese Atwood, one of the toughest outs here. The steal attempt, effective. Pretty good throw from Vakava, the catcher. But Christina Mala in a tough spot. So Kaylee Wickoff with a stolen base in scoring position for Atwood to left and foul. Reese's eyes light up, I think, a little more when she has a chance to drive in a run. That's how you drive in 90 of them in the course of a 4-month college season. She has just 2 runs batted in so far, but the big stage, the weekend, the playoffs, upcoming, which usually brings out the best in the best. This is a play that can be made and is made by Kavanova. So the youngster, Amelie Chalupkova, throwing herself a nice game against this dangerous Triple Crown Colorado team, but still trail by 2.
Welcome to the 2024 Canada Cup, brought to you by the Canadian Amateur Sports Society. Our not-for-profit organization is dedicated to ensuring that every deserving child can fully enjoy multi-day sports camps without any limitations. Join us in making a difference. Sign up for these life-changing camps or become a sponsor today. Together, let's celebrate the unifying power of sport. Visit CanadaCup.com to learn more and support our mission. Welcome.
It remains 2-0. Maddie Groff giving up just 1 hit. And another young performer, Amelie Chalupkova. 4 hits, but it was the one that has made the difference. A 2-run blast off the bat of Jess Oakland. This is about as nice a shot as you can have. Look at the ocean in the background. Such a beautiful area. The 4 diamonds, so nicely manicured. The athletes love playing here. And there's so many big events, but another big one coming up here in August. It's the ISC Men's World Tournament. The majority of the best men's fast pitch softball players will be here vying for the title. I always refer to it as the Stanley Cup Tournament of men's fast pitch. Best clubs assembled in North America. That's why it kind of feels a little to me like hockey, but players from all over and huge difference makers from New Zealand, Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, all perform in these North American-based teams to this year attempt to beat Jack Besgrove and the New York Gremlins, the reigning champs. And what Jack Besgrove has done in the men's game at only 20 years of age is spectacular. He's already won a Men's World Cup, an ISC, a U23, and a U18 title. He won't turn 21 until the 17th of December, and you'll have a chance. Get your tickets for the World ISC Tournament that starts in this ballpark on August the 10th. Is this area so rich? This tournament's a big reason, and the showcase events that go along with it in the other divisions. So well known for what happens on the women's side and has been for decades. The Canadian Senior Men's Championship went over pretty well here, and we'll see if people come to the park to see the men's best performers. You won't be disappointed. So one out as Christine Mallow was retired, and now it's left fielder Emma Vodichkova in left, not at shortstop. She had a quality cut at the Matty Groff pitch. And the hardest thrower velocity-wise in the tournament. First team All-American out of the University of Tennessee, Carlin Pickens is warming in the bullpen for Triple Crown Colorado. So I wonder if this is Matty Groff's last inning. David King has assembled, as he always does, a great staff to bring here on this Triple Crown Colorado collection of college stars. And a fine pitching staff with some of the best in the NCAA this season, including this young woman who featured the second best earned run average at 1.11. And she threw a lot of innings at Southern Illinois, 220 of them. 30-5 was her record. And I think only one other pitcher in the country won more games, or she might have led the way in terms of wins. And Vodichkova having herself a fine at-bat, trying to snap an 0 for Canada Cup streak. Had some good at-bats, but is still 0 for. And the changeup called a ball. So Vodichkova battles herself on base with a walk. And the number one hitter average-wise, 6 for 12, 500 in the Czechia lineup, is at home plate in Stishkalova. Alishka is the third baseman tonight. Has a home run and 4 runs batted in. She'd love one of those right about now. Sarah Gordon, a flip throw. It worked out. Not sure that she was as decisive as she wanted to be. Almost didn't go to second for the force, and then I think was a little off balance to make the flip throw, and Jackie Lease had to be careful to get the force out 6-4. Tried to track it off the pole. Sarah Gordon again as Gabriela Slaba is the batter. 3 for 9 now in the tournament. She grounded out to Jess Oakland at shortstop in the second inning. Lease. Inning over. Maddie Groff giving up just one hit in 4 innings of work. Triple Crown Colorado trying to go a perfect 5-0 in the round robin here at Softball City. There are a few things I enjoy more than watching a ball game on a beautiful night. And for those still remaining in attendance, they have one of those nights we showed you, 21 degrees. Got up around 25 or 26 and expected to maybe be even warmer here on the weekend. Highs tomorrow in this area, 28, 29 right now is what I see Saturday, and then 30 degrees on Sunday. So it's going to be a hot one for some great softball. Yes, you are on camera. Well, not on for long. And a new pitcher, Amelie Chalupkova, who threw 3 very good innings, gives way to Anna Zulova. Who comes on in relief and facing Alexis Popillo, the left fielder, and fouls it away. Zulova is 23 years of age. She's thrown 4 innings in the Canada Cup. She's 1-0, given up no runs, 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 1. All her work came in a 5-3 victory over the Saskatchewan 222s. She was 2-0 in the 2022 European Championship in 11 2/3 innings of work. Also played in the U22 European Championship. The rise ball Czechia starting to build something. Like what I see in Chalupkova with their number one pitcher, Pekova, who's 27. Look to be in some good shape in arguably the most important area of the game, in the circle. And a quality change up from Zulova to sit down a quality hitter. They're all quality in this lineup. In Alexis Papillo. So strikeout number 6 of the tournament for Zulova. And now it's Katie Stewart. Katie singled, and she's starting to heat up, which is bad news for the opponents. She was hot almost all season long in year one at the University of Texas on their way to the College Women's World Series final. 4 for 12 in that event with 2 doubles, a home run, and 5 runs batted in. 369 on the years. She gets hit and finds herself at first base. 5 for 14 in the Canada Cup is Katie Stewart. And Zulova, after an impressive strikeout, hits the next batter and faces Ari Roddy. Off the knee, but Stewart appears to be okay. Roddy 4 for 9 now with a double and 2 runs batted in. High pop-up to Slaba, and Stewart trying to steal, and she's thrown out. Katarina Vakova, the catcher, delivers it. Got a perfect throw to make that kind of play, and Christina Malla put the tag high on the shoulder for the first out. Or make that out number 2 now. 2-6. Is David King looking for some insurance? What a job and program he has built. Grassroots, great tournaments, fabulous facility, I understand. Haven't been yet, but will. In Colorado. And Zulova down low with a drop as she falls behind Ari Roddy, who at 353 at Charlotte University, or the University of Charlotte. Change up. A good one. Another one. Hit into right. A diving try, and Fribova can't get there. And Roddy's going to take a look at Coach King at third, but he's got his hands in the air as Ari Roddy has her second double of the Canada Cup. As Fribova, nice try. Bit of a late break, I thought, on the ball. She thought it was going to carry a little more and then had to go like crazy. Diving try just eludes her. So another runner in scoring position. There have not been many. Triple Crown Colorado with only 5 hits so far in the game. Jackie Lease from Newburgh, Indiana. She also, like Maddie Groff, had a stellar year at Southern Illinois, where she batted .344. Zulova misses in and down. Ball and a strike to Lease, who homered against Chinese Taipei. Drills this. It's going to go. No doubt. A home run for Jackie Lease, her second. Almost on cue. Another big fly. The second two-run homer of the game for Triple Crown Colorado. And it's 4-0. A no-doubter when it left the bat. Almost cleared the bleachers. So Anna Zuleva comes in, and can't say I'm too shocked to see Jackie Lease go deep. It's been a little unlucky and a lot of well-hit balls, but there's no one catching that. And that, a massive blow in this game that could go a long way to Triple Crown Colorado guaranteeing themselves top spot. There was an opportunity for a three-way tie with a Czechia win between Triple Crown Colorado, Australia, who avoided a huge upset by the Saskatchewan 222s when they trailed 2-1 going to the seventh. What a performance for 6 innings by Madeline Hickingbottom from Georgetown, Ontario. But Australia strung a bunch of hits together and scored 4 and then hung on. This is going to find some green, I think. No, it does not. A wonderful catch by Gabriela Slaba. My goodness. That's a good play. So Sarah Gordon, highway robbery. However, Jackie Lease went deep, and it's 4-0, Triple Crown Colorado. A new pitcher, Maddie Groff's night is over. She actually had the best earned run average, 1.11, because Carlin Pickens, who's coming into the game, had the second best earned run average in NCAA Division I softball, 112. And the hardest thrower here is the first-team All-American at the University of Tennessee. Pickens hails from Weaverville, North Carolina, in her second consecutive Canada Cup. And no shortage of velocity from Pickens. We had her at 73 miles an hour before a foul ball destroyed the radar gun. And look out in the on-deck circle as Alishka Sleninova almost took care of her teammate, and her teammate says, I'm not standing on this side anymore. I'm going over here, says catcher Katerina Vakova. Slanianova stays alive. Pickens 1-0 in the tournament, has given up no runs, 2 hits, struck out 10, and walked no one. 4 2/3 against Chinese Taipei, where she struck out 7 and gave up 2 hits, and she worked 3 scoreless innings against Saskatchewan 222s as it's dipped a little to 18 degrees, and Slanianova was all over that pitch. When it goes straight back, you know that a batter's on it. Slanianova, 23 years of age. She flew out to Cassidy Pickering in right field. There's a new left fielder. Abby Larson has come in to play in left field defensively, replacing Alexis Papillo out there. And a Jackie Lease 2-run homer goes hand in hand with a first-inning 2-run homer from Jess Oakland, who does nothing but hit homers in this tournament. She has 5 of them. And Slanianova goes down swinging against the hard-throwing Carlin Pickens. And a ball from another diamond almost ended up in our equipment. Not exactly sure where that came from, but yeah, that made us jump up here in the booth a little bit for sure. Certainly me, maybe not Luciano. He can do 93 things at once, so I'm not sure he even had time to notice. And David King comes out of the dugout. He wants to have a word with Carlin Pickens and Reese Atwood. Not sure if he's talking about sequence of pitches, but he certainly is purposeful. There's another fine gentleman who's done a great job for Softball Premier TV this week. Done a lot of work over on Diamond 2 to make sure the pictures and everything has gone well over there. And now just relaxing. What a concept. Well, no relaxing tomorrow either. 4 more playoff games coming your way. I believe we're going to get back to action. 2-run homer for Jess Oakland, her 5th in the first. And then a 2-run shot by Jackie Lease, her 2nd of the Canada Cup in the 4th. We're in the 5th. And Pickens with the high rise on catcher Katerina Vakova, who struck out, versus Maddie Groff, who gave Triple Crown Colorado 4 very good innings. Only surrendered 1 hit. And I'll have the line on Maddie Groff for you in just a second or two. Gets away from catcher Reese Atwood, and Carlin Pickens looks like she's throwing as hard as at any time in this tournament this week. So maybe David King had something to say that gave her a little extra juice. Well, it worked. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pickens, up to 12 now in the tournament. Pitching line for Maddie Groff, 4 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, walked 1. as Triple Crown Colorado, including this game, outscoring the opponents to the tune of 34-1. Not the highest scoring team in the round robin. That belonged to Canada, who scored 47 times. And not to take anything away from the home country, but their pool not as difficult as the pool involving these two teams. These are two good teams. And so is the Australian national team, the Aussie Spirit, trying to win a Canada Cup title before they make their way overseas to Italy to compete in the 8-team Women's World Cup. Pickens, and that takes a tough hop on Sarah Gordon. And Clara Cikovacolaci has a hit off Carlin Pickens. Just the second hit of the game for Czechia. As it eludes Sarah Gordon and Jess Oakland, who nearly dug it out deep in the hole. I don't think she would have had a play had Jess made it. Gordon leaves it, and Oakland has it go through her legs. She says, "That's on me." And for the second time, Frebova, who had a hit her first time up, is on base. This is going to be charged in air. And I truly believe, after looking two more times, I think Oakland lost some concentration. Looked like she felt that Gordon was going to take it, and then it surprised her, and she wasn't able to stay down on the ball. So a very rare error for Triple Crown Colorado. They've made very few. And a little life for Czechia. But there are two out. And Pickens dials it up on the outside corner. But apparently missed. Called the ball. Magdalena Kavanova. In on her hands. Did get a piece. Pickens is throwing hard. Maybe even harder than the 73 that I saw, but it's got to be right in that wheelhouse again. Seems like it's got more zip tonight. Maybe not. Ooh, the snap throw, and it gets away from Roddy. So a couple of miscues here by Triple Crown Colorado, as Roddy wasn't quite ready for the snap throw from Reese Atwood that might have caught Kalachi. But instead, it's a second straight error for Triple Crown Colorado. Very close to being a third strikeout in the inning. An inning that's become more interesting. And a payoff pitch on the way to Magdalena Kavanova. Just enough. As Reese Atwood couldn't quite hang on to it. The tall right-hander, Carlin Pickens. Tells Magdalena Kavanova to forget about it. 3 strikeouts for the hard-throwing righty. And she gets out of the jam after a couple of errors to the bottom of the 5th with a 4-0 advantage. Czechia trailing Triple Crown Colorado. Leading 4-0. Is one of the favorites to win it all. They've finished second, Triple Crown Colorado. There's a number of returnees from last year's team that lost to Japan, the reigning Olympic champions, who brought their national team here last year. In the 2022 Canada Cup, as Anna Zulova works to Kaylee Wickoff, who's had a nice night with a couple of base hits and a stolen base. The Triple Crown Colorado Canada Cup team of 2022 beat the United States twice. Once in a round-robin game, once in a playoff game, and then in the most important game, the championship affair on that Sunday evening in 2022, the United States won. But I do not remember any type of competition. Maybe Japan has beat the United States twice in a world event. But even at that, I question whether they did it twice in the same event. Triple Crown Colorado did, but they couldn't make it 3 in a row. So that was a really unique part of 2022. 2023, the Japanese return to the Canada Cup. And they're always brilliant to watch. The work they do defensively is second to none in the sport. And they, in the United States, playing right now in a series overseas, which they get together for every year now, which is pay to watch for sure. When those two countries get together in this sport with their best, I could watch those two go at one another about 200 times in a season and never be bored or be disinterested. It's so good. Canada and Australia, part of the 8-team field, hoping to win a medal. Change up, and Kaylee Wickoff on base for a third consecutive time in the game, this time on a walk from Anna Zulova, who took over from 18-year-old Emily Chalupkova. And Jess Oakland started the party with a towering 2-run shot back in the bottom of the first. Her 5th home run and runs batted in number 11 and 12 to lead the tournament in both categories. And now a visit from Katarina Vakova. Trying to figure out what they might do with Oakland, who has hit a home run and then popped out to right. When she hits one safely, it usually leaves the yard. 6 hits, 5 home runs. For the University of Minnesota star, the Big Ten Player of the Year, Jess Oakland. She had a 3-home run game this year on March 30th at Illinois. Her dad, Mike, a minor leaguer for the Colorado Rockies at one point in their system, and a high school coach. So Dad has been a great instructor, and the genes paying off. 2 balls and a strike to Jess Oakland from San Jose. And in on her hands from Anna Zulova. Jess Oakland approaches every single at-bat like she's going to start at home and end at home. That's how she swings. Somewhat like Alicia Campbell of Team Mexico. Up and away. From Zulova. Be interesting at some point if Pickens throws against Veronika Pekova, who's in the 71 range, as compared to Pickens 73. At Slaba, who's made a couple of great plays, none better than the one to take a hit away from Sarah Gordon in the bottom of the fourth. This one much easier as Oakland lines out to second, and there's one out. Tomorrow's playoff action begins at 1, and my understanding is the first game, and we'll confirm it. You can check CanadaCup.com later this evening or early tomorrow morning for all the matchups, but my understanding is it should be Israel and the Saskatchewan 222s, and Cassidy Pickering on the slow roller beats it out. And Kaylee Wickoff, who runs so well, goes all the way on this ball, never hesitated from first to third. The little things that make a difference. Kavanova couldn't dive over to make the play, and now runners at the corners with one out for Reese Atwood, and she's about due to go deep again. If she does it, with the way the day's gone, I might start buying lottery tickets. Some days in this position, you just get a feeling. Erica Polidori ended a game earlier tonight where you just, and I'd mentioned it, seemed like that's exactly what was going to happen. And she hit a solo home run. What a tournament for Erica, who's batting .688. Leads the tournament, has 11 hits in 16 official at-bats. And if things continue to shape up the way they are right now with this game, then it'll be Canada and Australia in the first of 2 1-versus-2 playoff games tomorrow here tonight, or tomorrow night, pardon me. And then would be followed by Triple Crown Colorado and Mexico. There's a lovely shot. Carol DeReste. Day and night on that camera. A hard-working woman who does a marvelous job. No balls and 2 strikes. Change up with no intention of being anywhere near the zone to Reese Atwood, which is usually a pretty good idea. She has yet to really get in a groove. She had the one big game, an important game, when she went 3 for 4 against Australia in a 6-1 victory. Homered and drove in the only 2 runs that she has, and it gets away this time from Zulova. Great hustle, though, from Vakova to get back to it. And Pickering really didn't even leave third. So she wasn't quite ready to score on a pass ball. Cassidy Pickering from Humble, Texas. Star at the University of Oklahoma. The 2-2 to Reese Atwood. Change up out of the zone. So all of a sudden, 0-2 has turned into a full count. Base open. Always important with someone like Atwood. But there's no easy outs in this Triple Crown Colorado lineup. Although Atwood would be one of my last choices to face. And that was a good pitch, but just inside. So the bases are loaded. looked like Abby Larson was due up to hit. She came into the game for Alexis Papillo, and now I wonder, does Papillo come back out to hit? That would be my guess. Is that what is about to transpire? Yes, it is. So Papillo, the better hitter. And Papillo, after Atwood draws the walk, bases are loaded. And I know what David King's thinking about. Probably a drive to the gap to maybe end the game. It's been a busy week. Teams have played 5 round-robin games and still have, if you're Triple Crown Colorado, you'd like to play 3 more on the weekend. It could be more than that. But for the top 4 teams, that is the opportunity that awaits. Triple Crown Colorado is there right now. If this game stays the way, so is Australia, Canada, and Mexico. 3 straight wins, and you are Canada Cup champs. We're in for a really fun and entertaining playoffs. It's even going to be very interesting with the bottom 4 teams. So Zulava with some encouragement from Sheshkalova as Alishka goes back to third. And Alexis Papillo re-enters 0 for 2 in the game, grounded out and struck out. A big year at the University of Northern Iowa, but transferring to Alabama, an SEC softball powerhouse. 5 for 11 in the tournament with a home run and 3 runs batted in. And had a big rip at the Zulava pitch. She had 8 runs batted in the game this season, February 23rd against Longwood University. 8. 2 home runs in that game. Also had a 6 RBI game against Illinois State on April 28th and was a second team All-American this season at the University of Northern Iowa. And she's trying to end this game with 1 swing, which she would if she cleared the bags. Even a shot to the gap would give Triple Crown Colorado to end it in the 5th with a 7-run advantage. Czechia wants no part of it. Change up. Outside, and not by a whole bunch. Ball and 2 strikes with just 1 out to Alexis Papillo and Katie Stewart on deck. Almost hit her. A protection check swing as much as anything. He gets started. And remember, when people are throwing 65 to 70, 72 from 43 feet, and it leaves the hand at around 35, you don't have a lot of time to react. Papillo in the gap. It'll score 2. It's going to score 3. Just the way David King had ordered it up. And it ends the game. A 3-run double by Alexis Papillo. Triple Crown Colorado seals a perfect 5-0 finish in the round robin, and they will be an awfully tough opponent for anyone, including Canada and Australia, on the weekend. So just like that, it comes to an end, and that's what this Triple Crown Colorado team can do. A great day. Some very interesting games, and the best is yet to come. The playoffs start tomorrow afternoon. Join us, CanadaCup.com, and on Softball Premier TV's YouTube channel. For everyone here involved, I'm Peter Loubardius. Good night from Surrey.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com. Live it on Softball Premier.